Welcome to the Garments Engaged Crochet Podcast, where I chat about crochet garments and other yarny things. I am Michelle Ferguson, owner and pattern designer of Two Brothers Blankets. You can find me at twobrothersblankets.com, on Facebook and Instagram at Two Brothers Blankets, and right here on YouTube each week for this podcast. I'm so glad you're here. This is episode 10 of season 1, the final episode of season 1. So I am so glad you're here with me to watch this episode. If you haven't yet already, please subscribe to this channel. We're getting closer and closer every week to 1,000 YouTube subscribers. And as soon as we do, I'm going to do a giveaway. So if you would subscribe, you can click the bell at the top of your page to get notifications every time I upload a new video as well. I hope you guys have had a good week. It's been a crazy week here. We are finishing up like end of the year school stuff. We finished our homeschool co-op for the year, for this school year. So it's been like really busy, but like we know the end is in sight. So that is good. Let's see, events and happenings. I don't have too much going on. We have May coming up. By the time this posts, it will be May. So May is here. And this month and the next couple of months, I'm going to have some guest bloggers, guest designers on the blog sharing crochet patterns that they've designed. So I'm really excited about that. It's like a guest blogger summer series or whatever you want to call it. I'm really excited to have some newer designers as well as some well-known established designers on the blog sharing their crochet patterns each week. I think I have 2 or 3 per month, so be sure to look out for that. Subscribe to my email to make sure you get all the information in your email every Friday with my newsletter. Let's see, anything else? I don't think so. So this is season 1, episode 10. This is the last episode of this season, and then I will be taking a little break. I think a couple of weeks, if at most a month off, to take a break from recording this each week, but also get everything planned. I have some big plans for season 2. So I will be doing some recording actually to get prepared for that. And planning and all that. So I'll have season 2 ready to go when I get back. So for this episode, I did say I was going to do a Q&A style episode. I told you to ask me your questions about garments, about me and my life, about my business, anything. So I didn't get as many as I wanted, but that's okay. We'll go through these. The ones that I did get were really good. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments if you think of anything else. So let's get started. The first question I got was from Emma in my Facebook group, Two Brothers Blankets Crochet Community. Let me move my mouse around. She says, "Hi, Michelle. I've been really enjoying these podcasts." Thank you. Although I've been crocheting for many years, I've only started crocheting garments in the last few months, so I am finding them really helpful. Yay, that is the goal. I'd be interested to know what goes on behind the scenes when you come up with a design. Like, do you get the yarn, then design a pattern around it, or do you have an idea like crocheting a summer top and then find some suitable yarn? Also, does your design evolve as you go, or do you plan it beforehand? Sorry for all the questions, but while I appreciate that there's a lot of work in getting a design finalized, it would be interesting to know how you approach this. She says, "I have no desire to do this, Michelle, myself. I'm more than happy to use a designer's tried and tested pattern." Thank you, Emma. I'm so glad you're enjoying the podcast, and this is a really good question. So I think she asked what goes on behind the scenes if I come up with the design first or the yarn. So at this point in my business, I have to plan ahead, and life, season of life. I have to really plan ahead at this point. When I first started out, I would design as an idea came to me, but I guess you would say the entire time that I've been designing, the design usually comes first. I haven't really been I can name a few times that I've been inspired by the yarn first. There's been times where I bought a yarn that I really wanted to try and then ended up designing from it, but usually the design idea comes first. When I first started, it would just come to me. I would find yarn and design it right away. It was kind of nice. But now, being really established in my business, having other obligations and things like that, and plus being a homeschooling mom and I watch my nephews a few days a week and stuff like that, I really have to plan things out and have them prepared and ready to go at a certain time. So right now, the design does come first. I haven't been doing a lot of individual designing. I've been doing some commission designing, and I'm really excited to get back into some individual designing. I've kind of took a little break to get the podcast started and everything like that from putting out newer patterns, and I was working on older patterns, updating them, new pictures, all that. So I'm just now getting into some new designing and have like plans for a couple new ones in the next couple of months, and I'm really excited about it. So yes, the design comes first. And she says, does it evolve as you go, or do you plan it beforehand? So I have an idea of what I'm going to do usually when I start, but I usually just write it down as I go and change things or work it up different than I originally planned, or whatever works best to get the design and the look I want. So yes, it can evolve into something different when I am crocheting it, if something doesn't work out or whatever. Sometimes it looks totally different than I originally expected it to. But most of the time, I have an idea. I have a plan for like the workup style and the way I'm going to get it done. And usually I can get that to work out, but it does change here or there sometimes. But thank you for your question. I hope that answered it. I usually do the designing process, the crocheting process first, and I write it down as I go, as I'm crocheting it. And then I type up the pattern and get it tested and all that. So that's kind of how it goes around here. All designers do it differently. Some type it up as they go. Some write it down, work it up, or work it up and then decide to write it down, all kind of ways. So that's just how I do it. Okay, next question. This was from one of my videos, one of my previous podcast videos, and I don't have the name, but it says, do you reblock something after washing? So this is something that I am not 100% sure on. I guess if you consider it, like if you've blocked it and then you wear it for a while and then you wash it, do you like lay it back out flat and all that? Yes, I would do that. I think it was last week that I reviewed the City Tweed yarn, and I did the Nova Shrug with it. I had hand washed it, and then laid it back out, and it kept its shape for the most part. But if you really are worried about like it keeping its shape or whatever, yes, I would like pin it down exactly how you want it and everything. While it's still wet, and let it dry, so that way it doesn't get manipulated too much. But like I haven't done, like I said, I don't wash stuff very, very often because it doesn't get worn as much here in Florida, although I am wearing my Blushing Islets tank top, one of my favorite tank tops to wear in the summer, even here in sunny Florida. It's cool enough and I love it. Anyways, so I haven't washed a ton of like merino wool or anything like that to say whether it would change shape that much or not after, but I guess you could say yes, you would probably want to reblock it, lay it out and pin it if you need to keep its shape after washing, if it's something like a nicer fabric that needs to be hand washed and laid flat to dry. Okay, next question is from Kim. She says, what has been the biggest challenge so far doing this podcast? I liked this question. Honestly, the biggest challenge is just life. Life in general. Finding time to consistently film. As you know, I have had to film a couple of episodes back to back, like on the same day ahead of time, because we've had things going on. We had spring break. We had my son's birthday in the middle of this. Also, I am watching my nephews. Like I said, my sister moved here in January, so I occasionally watch my nephews while she goes to work. So between that and homeschooling and other business stuff and cooking and cleaning and all the things, just finding the time in the midst of life to do it. Like right now I'm filming this and my kids are in their bedroom well, they're probably done with school now. So, but they were doing schoolwork, and I was like, if you have a question, just wait, I'll come get it. But they might not, they might have moved on past school at this point. But yeah, like they're in the bedroom, told them to be quiet. You got to do what you got to do. So that's probably been the biggest challenge. I already had the products I needed, like the lighting and the cameras and the microphone and an editing software and all that to do this. So that wasn't hard. I kind of already learned all that too. I do want to learn how to market my videos better. That's one thing I'm going to be working on during the break. But just finding time to film and be consistent in the midst of all the things that life has in this season of our life has been the biggest challenge for sure. And then we had someone on another podcast episode ask how to measure bust. And here's one. How to measure your bust when you are trying to figure out what size. So I just take a soft measuring tape and measure directly around my entire bust from behind and just measure right around it. You could do a little, I know a lot of people do it up top a little, but either way, it's about the same for me at least. But you want to measure around the biggest part, I would say, of your bust so that you have that space, that extra space you need for it. So let's see, next one. Oh, this one's from Instagram. It is from Toasty Mornings on Instagram. She says, where does my inspiration come from? This kind of has to do with the first question a little bit. I can piggyback off that. A lot of times I will get inspiration to design a certain thing from the latest trends, the cute things I see at the stores, things that I'm seeing online, Pinterest. I get ideas from that. Certain styles of tank tops, cardigans, things like that. That will give me ideas. Sometimes yarn does. Occasionally I will get an idea from a yarn, or I'll have an idea, a project in mind, a garment in mind that I will be like, oh, that's the perfect yarn for it. And then I'll, start designing. Other times, like last year, I did a lot of, and this year I have some stuff planned, collections where I made the brimstone hat first. And then I was like, oh, I need a cowl in this stitch combo. And so I did the cowl, and then I did the sweater. So like a lot of times I'll get ideas that way. Like I just love the stitch combo. I think it would look so good as a sweater or a cardigan or whatever. So that's where I get some inspiration most of the time. Latest trends, styles, things I think are cute. Sometimes yarn, and then sometimes my previous patterns. Okay, next one. Oh, I didn't write the name to the name of this person down. It says, do you have a yarn weight preference when it comes to garments? So I told you last week, I think it was, that I love summer makes. Love them. So lightweight is the way to go for me, living in Florida. I like anything from DK to fingering. Worsted weight I'm indifferent to it, I guess you could say. Probably sport would be like my ultimate favorite, I think, or DK. I don't know, I love them all. I like lightweight though, even for sweaters. Occasionally I'll go with worsted, like my brimstone was worsted, Savannah was worsted, but I do and I did a lot of worsted when I was first starting out because sweaters were such a big project, and I thought thicker yarn won't take as long. Like, I'm not even kidding. I did that. But now and then I discovered the smaller weight yarns and I fell in love. So even for some of my sweaters, I prefer like at least a DK weight, my newer stuff. So just depends. But lighter weights are definitely what I lean towards nowadays. And then best way to join yarn together in a project. I join mid-stitch. So I'm going to find some of my fellow designers' tutorials. I don't think I have a tutorial for it, and link it in this video, in the description of this video. But I do so where you would do like a double crochet, yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, and then you would add the other yarn to the loop, to the hook, and pull through for that last pull through of your double crochet to add the yarn, to change yarns. So I'll definitely get a video for that for you, but that's what I do the majority, like 99.9% of the time when I'm joining yarn in a project, whether I've run out of yarn or I'm changing colors. That's how I do it. Oh, that's it. That's all we got. We had 7 questions, but that's okay. They were great questions. So now I want to ask you a question. I want to know what you would love to see in season 2, whether that be what kind of yarns you want me to review, more yarns for me to review, more garment questions you have, who you'd like me to interview. I really do want to do some interviews during season 2 and interview some designers that are also professionals in the garment designing industry or the crochet world. It doesn't necessarily have to be garments, and maybe interview some people that have better expertise in things that I don't. So if you would love to see a fellow designer of mine that you would love for me to interview, please let me know who you would like for me to interview. I just want to know what you want to see in season 2, what you're looking for, what you loved about this season that you want me to keep doing, anything like that. Let me know in the comments, please, so that I can be planning and get everything ready for season 2. All right, that was all our questions. My question to you, let's get into what's in my WIP bag. I don't really have a bag right now because I've been using this beautiful yarn bowl from WIP Crochet. Isn't it gorgeous? So it's been sitting on my couch with my project. Now remember, I didn't have anything last week. Well, I've made good progress on this week's, and I think you will be very proud of me because I'm very proud of me. So I am just about at the spot of the point where I would need to split it into 3 panels for armholes so that it will fold over and be a cardigan for this beautiful, I don't have a name for it yet, but it's going to be a summer cardigan. I'm planning on, hopefully we'll see, this is where the projects or the design might evolve. I want to have pretty big, like oversized, it's supposed to be an oversized cardigan, like slightly oversized sleeves in the same stitch pattern. And then I think maybe a tiny little ribbed trim, like not a big chunky ribbing, but like maybe just a little along the edges. I don't know about on the sleeves, but definitely very like just along the edges and maybe the bottom. So that's the plan. So that's my WIP, and I really want to get it done soon because I'm excited to wear it and take pictures of it. It's lightweight, it's fingering weight, Hawthorne from WIP Crochet, gorgeous pink color. That's my WIP. I'm like focused on it, nothing else till I finish it, all that. So next, I want to do my very last of season 1, brutally honest yarn review. And it is not something that I'm too in love with. I don't know. It's my first like not so good review. So here we go. I reviewed Lion Brand Truboo yarn. This yarn is, let me find it, 100% rayon from bamboo. I've seen a lot of people use it. I've seen lots of it on Instagram. Never tried it. It is 241 yards, a DK3 weight, and it says to machine wash cool, gentle cycle, lay flat to dry. So I didn't have time to like work up a whole something with it, like a whole project with it. So I made some swatches to wash. And I washed them. I made 2 swatches. I made one to see if it would meet gauge for my springtime sweater, and another one to see if it would meet gauge for my siesta sweater. Because it was DK, I was like, this might work. So then I washed it. And I washed it with a few blankets, and I didn't put it in gentle cycle like it says, because I forgot. It kind of like felted almost, which was my user error for sure. And it's all kind of stretched out, fuzzy, almost felted like, right? So I was like, oh no, this is no good. But it was my fault. So I did another swatch. and washed it in the gentle cycle with another crochet item. Just one. It's a square of double crochet, but it didn't hold its shape at all. I laid it flat to dry. I laid both of these flat to dry, all of these. I think it's bigger than it was, like it expanded. It didn't really hold its shape. It's not fuzzy and felted like it was, so the gentle cycle definitely helped. But I'm just not impressed with the washability of this. Like, I feel like this needs to be hand washed and laid flat and pinned down to dry. I didn't love it. I just didn't love it. It's a nice yarn. It's like super, super soft, like, and shiny, and like, I don't know. It was almost too smooth. Does that make sense? Like, I kept missing my hook with it. Now I was using one size bigger hook than called for, but it was still like, it was not the best to work with. It wasn't as splitty as Truboo, I will say that. But it was not my favorite to work with or wash. So I'm giving Truboo a 6 out of 10. Maybe 5 out of 10. It's pretty, it's shiny, it's super soft. It's not acrylic. It's a, rayon from bamboo. I would go with Truboo over this any day. Just saying. But it's not my favorite, and it did not wash well at all either. So that's my review. 5 out of 10. So there you go. Take it as you will, however you want. Let me know if you like it, if you've tried it and like it. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I didn't love it. So that's all I have for today. I will be back soon. Be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe to my email list so you can keep up and find out when the next episode for episode 1 of season 2 will be out. I'm hoping in just a few weeks. If anything, it'll be like the 1st of June. So I'll let you know. Be sure to keep up with me on Facebook and Instagram and email. All right. And be sure to subscribe. Hopefully by season 2, we'll be at 1,000 subscribers. So I will talk to you again very soon.